Hello everyone, my name is Bhavish Kumar. This is my Master of Science in Applied Data Science portfolio video, and in this video I'm going to walk you through my MS in Applied Data Science journey. Speaking of my education background, I did my bachelor's in Electronics and Communication Engineering at Cochin University of Science and Technology, and I finished my bachelor's in the year 2016 in the month of April. And after finishing my bachelor's, I joined Mu Sigma, which is a pure play analytics firm, and I worked for Mu Sigma as a decision scientist for 3 years, and this work stint exposed me to the field of data science and gave me a solid foundation in the same. And after working at Mu Sigma, I quit Mu Sigma in the year 2019, and then I came to Syracuse in fall 2019 for my MS in Applied Data Science. So, as an introduction, before going into my coursework and the projects that I worked on, I would like to spend a little time talking about this field of data science and how I landed in this field. So, as we all know, in the recent times, the quest to achieve profitability and operational efficiency has led to making data the most valuable asset for an organization and has driven businesses to incorporate data science tools and techniques into their processes. So today, data science, analytics, and business intelligence, all these can be positioned at the foundation of every business decision taken across every industry, and it's the core of every business decision, we can say. So, um, so the exciting avenues which the field of data science would open are so fascinating and alluring that I discovered that my inherent interests align in this field. So my first encounter was during the second year of my undergrad studies, where I learned some basic stats and concepts of linear regression, and that is when my penchant and the endless pursuit of knowledge began. And in 2016, after completing my undergraduate studies, I was able to land the role of a trainee decision scientist with Mu Sigma, which is a pure play analytics company that is meant for aspiring data scientists. So, because of my strong fascination for this field, I was delighted to begin my exploration and journey by joining Mu Sigma. So, after working at Mu Sigma for 3 years, my interest in this field was amplified, and I decided to make the giant leap and pursue a master's in this field of data science to scale up the knowledge ladder and acquire a comprehensive understanding of various concept tools and techniques in this field. So this strong desire is what brought me to Syracuse in fall 2019, and that is when I began pursuing my master's in applied data science. Now I'm at the verge of completing my master's, and I'll be graduating in the month of May 2021, that is next month. And I would say over the last 1.5 years at Syracuse, I've completed several courses and worked on several academic projects, which took me several steps forward in reaching my goal, which is to get a comprehensive in-depth knowledge in this field. So in the upcoming sections, I have covered my learning journey, and I'm going to talk about my projects and coursework. So at the beginning, I would like to talk about the most fundamental course that helped me start my journey in the field of data science, and that was IST 687, Introduction to Data Science. So in this course, I worked on an airline customer churn analysis project in a team of 5, And the goal of this project was to improve customer retention by enhancing the airline's net promoter score. And this was carried out by using several descriptive analytics methods, where such as performing exploratory data analysis in the form of multivariate analysis by using exploratory graphs and descriptive statistics. So this involved us plotting several box plots, bar graphs, to observe certain values at different category levels, and report certain descriptive statistics to gain some valuable insights. And with the help of the insights, the outcome was that we made solid recommendations that will help improve the net promoter score of the airline. And talking about net promoter score, it is basically the difference between percentage of promoters and percentage of detractors. So in a score scale range of 1 to 10, scores of 8, 9, and 10 can be called promoters, whereas scores below 5 can be called as detractors. So the difference between percentage of promoters and detractors can be called the net promoter score. So, reflecting on what I learned through this course and the project, so I would say by taking this course in my first semester in fall 2019, I familiarized myself with the fundamental concepts of data science, and I learned the basics of R, which is a very popularly used language in data science. And I learned various basic data structures such as vectors, data frames, etc. And this was followed by learning certain data transformation techniques in R by using the dplyr and tidyverse package. The transformations such as performing aggregation, sorting, and merging is something that I learned from this course. After learning these basics of R, I also got to learn visualization techniques using the ggplot package of R. And in this project, we applied these techniques that we learned, and built all our visualizations and reported the descriptive statistics. So we also learned some basic concepts of machine learning and some basic algorithms like linear regression and association rule binding. So overall, this course and this project served as a wonderful start to my learning journey at the high school. Now, moving ahead to the next course. So this is MBC 638, that is data analysis and decision making, which is predominantly a statistics course. So my in-depth understanding and knowledge in statistics can be attributed to this course, which I completed in my fall 2019 semester. So this course helped me master several basic statistical concepts surrounding the measures of central tendency such as mean, median, mode. And I also learned descriptive and inferential statistics, regression analysis, Gaussian distributions, probability, confidence intervals, hypothesis testing, and time series forecasting, which is a pretty big and exhaustive list of very important statistic concepts in statistics. Also, the concept of using estimates from a sample to make inferences about the population was well understood by me with the help of this course. Also, I understood the importance of regression algorithms like linear and logistic, as these models render an equation containing the dependent and independent variables, and using the equation coefficients and p-values, we'll be able to understand the effect and importance or significance of each of the independent variables. Hence, we can call these equations as highly interpretable and helps us make inferences. So also the assignments and weekly quizzes, midterm and final exams help me apply all these concepts in solving the questions and thereby giving me a solid understanding of all the concepts. Hence, this was also a wonderful course and it significantly contributed to my knowledge base. Now moving on to the next course, course 3 and the second project, that is IST 707, data analytics. So this course helped me get a solid understanding of all the machine learning algorithms, and working on the project helped me gain hands-on experience with the cross-industry standard process for data mining, more popularly known as the CRISP-DM methodology. So this project, which is Will Car Be a Lemon? The goal of this project was to help auto dealers predict if a car purchased at an auto auction is going to be a lemon, and these bad cars that cannot be resold later are called as lemons. So our goal was to classify all the cars at the auto auction as being lemons or not lemons. So the method used was, as I mentioned, the CRISP-DM methodology, and this methodology involves performing data cleaning, followed by exploration, pre-processing, and feature engineering, which is followed by training and evaluating the model baseline model performance, followed by fine-tuning, performing grid search and cross-validation to produce the best model. And this is can be called an iterative process, which can be continued to to produce the best model. So I implemented this process and also built an RShiny web app containing insightful visualizations and a predictive model to help predict if a car is going to be a lemon. So yeah, so in this project, the data set we obtained was from Kaggle, and it was a highly imbalanced data set. So we performed a SMOT method, that is the synthetic method of oversampling, to balance the data set. And after generating a balanced data set, we trained tree-based ensemble learning models such as gradient boosted trees and random forest. And in addition to these, we also trained k-nearest neighbors and logistic regression models. This was followed by fine-tuning the hyperparameters to maximize accuracy and recall. So both of these were important metrics for us, and recall was important so as to minimize the false negatives. So after training all these models, we observed that random forest yielded the best performance with a balanced accuracy of 83% and a recall of 55%. So we proceeded with this model and built a RShiny web application that on which the model was deployed, so that users can use the model with the help of the UI and supply inputs to make a prediction on the car. So reflecting on my learnings out of this project and this course, so I would say this course marked the beginning of my journey in machine learning and data science or data mining, and I got to learn all the majorly widely used machine learning algorithms such as association rules mining, k-means and HAC clustering, decision trees, random forest, GBMs, k-nearest neighbors, naive Bayes, and also artificial neural networks. So in addition to all the algorithms, I also got to learn visualization and dashboarding techniques as we built user interactive web apps using RShiny. So since visualization and dashboarding is also an important part of data science, that was very beneficial for us. And so by predicting if a car will be a lemon, we can help auto dealers make wise and informed decisions, as lemons can be a huge financial burden on car dealers and are highly undesirable. Yeah. So this was the poster that we had built as part of the same project, where me and my teammates, where I worked in a team of three, we compiled this poster. So this poster captures the entire project journey and covers all the technical details. And it starts off from the problem statement. The project objective describes the dataset, and the poster also covers the cleaning and pre-processing steps that we had undertaken. So as pre-processing, we performed one hot encoding to convert all the categorical variables into binary, because most of the machine learning algorithms requires the data to be in numbers to be able to perform mathematical operations on them. And we also performed PCA to reduce the dimensions, which would help improve the clustering performance. And we performed SMOT for oversampling to get a balanced data. And this was followed by standard scaling and normalization to ensure that all the values fall within the same range. So as you can see in this poster, the model performance comparison is depicted with the help of a bar graph, and it's clearly evident that random forest yielded the best performance in terms of accuracy and recall. Yeah, so that is about this project. Now moving on to the next course and the next project. So this is Big Data Analytics IST 718, and this course and the project helped me um, get a good understanding of how PySpark, which is Apache Spark's language, can be used to perform machine learning on big data. So speaking about the project, hospital readmission prediction, this project again involved binary classification using machine learning models, but the only difference was this was done on a large big data set, and this was implemented using a different technology. As I mentioned, we used Apache Spark's MLlib library for this. So the goal of this project was to make patient level predictions on whether a patient is going to get readmitted to the hospital after discharge. So readmissions after discharge can occur due to ineffective treatment, and by predicting if that is going to happen at a patient level, the hospitals can proactively make alterations to the treatment to avoid readmission post discharge. So in this project again, we had employed the same crisp data mining methodology, and the entire project was implemented using Apache Spark's MLlib library. So the Spark is the most popular big data technology, and it's well suited for machine learning and data mining on very large data sets. So, as the methodology, we also performed exploratory data analysis with graphs and correlation metrics to assess the effect of every variable on the target variable and to validate certain assumptions. So here again we trained and fine-tuned several machine learning models, and the performance was measured using accuracy, recall, and AUC metrics. And performance of each of these models shown in the table on the right side. And as we can see, the gradient boosting tree model gave the best performance with the highest accuracy, recall, and AUC. So the outcome of this project was that we identified the best performing model as gradient boosted tree, and this project was thus going to help hospitals make patient level predictions on whether a patient would get readmitted. Essentially, binary classification was done on the patient level dataset. So this course, reflecting on what I learned from this course and the project. So to start off, I would say this course also helped me get a strong conceptual understanding of applying machine learning to perform data mining and its real world applications. So, in addition to IST 707, this course also helped me get a strong knowledge and understanding of machine learning. So, with the only difference being the technology that was used for this project, which was Apache Spark, more popularly known as PySpark. I also got to learn the concepts of resilient distributed datasets, that is RDD and MapReduce. That is, MapReduce is the operation that happens in the backend of Spark and Hadoop. And I also got to learn principal component analysis, which is the most popularly used dimensionality reduction technique. So the end goal and outcome of the project was that by predicting if a discharged patient is going to get readmitted, the hospital can proactively take corrective measures to avoid readmission. Now, moving on to the next course and the next project. This is course number 5, which is artificial neural networks, and the project that I worked on as part of this course was called retail sales forecasting. So this was a multivariate time series forecasting project, which was different from all the previous projects that I had described above. And the data also was different. The pre-processing techniques and the algorithms used were also different for this project. So, speaking of the goal of this project, so the goal of this project was to train forecast models that are capable of making weekly sales prediction at a store department level. So by making accurately predicting the sales, uh, the store can improve their inventory stocking and restocking process. So, speaking of the methods used, I experimented with multiple algorithms and multiple variants of every algorithm to build multivariate sales forecast models. So several sales forecast models were built and compared. Their performance was compared using the mean square error MSE metric. So since the target variable was a numeric in this case, it was a it can be termed as a function approximation problem, and MSE is the most suitable metric to measure the model performance. Yeah. So, as part of data pre-processing, I created, so since this is a time series forecasting problem, I created lag value attributes. By lag value, I mean the values that occurred in the previous weeks, and I experimented with different number of lags to identify the optimum number of lags that would yield the best performance. So, So I trained LSTM, which is the long short-term memory neural network model, and also a gated recurrent unit, most popularly known as GRU neural network model. These are special recurrent neural network models that are well suited for a problem of this type, that are very well suited for multivariate time series forecasting. So after building all these models and identifying the best forecast model, I also productionalized the model with the help of a web application built using HTML, CSS, Flask, pickle file, and Python. So so the outcome was that LSTM and GRU yielded much superior performance, as they are well suited for time series forecasting. And by productionalizing, I enabled the end users to use the model and make predictions by providing the input values on the web application. So so by productionizing, basically you can share the forecast model across to all the users in a way that they can also use the model and make predictions based on their input values. So now reflecting on what I learned from this course and the project, so I would say I gained a tremendous amount of exposure to the whole new world of neural networks and deep learning. I also got to learn the working of a feed forward neural network and how a training happens with different epochs and batch sizes, and how the chain rule and back propagation works to train a feed forward neural network model. In addition to a basic feed forward model, I also got to learn certain complex and special recurrent neural network models, neural network algorithms such as the long short term memory and gated recurrent unit networks that are also trained through backpropagation. But in addition to that, they also have a time component, thereby them getting trained with backpropagation through time. They are widely used for time variant data and time series forecasting. Um, and I also learned how the feed forward neural network is trained through backpropagation. Yeah, so these are the learnings that I obtained by working on this project and by taking this course. Now, moving on to the last course and the project that I would be describing in this video. So this is IST 722, that is data warehousing. So this course basically introduced me and exposed me uh, to the area of data engineering and business intelligence and warehousing that comes under the space of data science. So yeah, speaking of the project, which is integrated data warehouse. So the goal of this project, as the name suggests, was to aid the smooth merger of two fictitious companies by designing an integrated star schema data warehouse that would capture the data of both these companies, and that would help cater to the order fulfillment business process of the merged company. So for this project, the method we used was different from all the other machine learning and data mining methods that I had described above. So this involved data profiling on the normalized data stores, that is the original data set. And by data profiling, I mean having a look at all the records that are present in a table, and looking at the rows and column attributes of the tables which would help us the identify the right tables that had the data required for the order fulfillment business process. So after identifying the tables, we built a star schema data warehouse using SQL scripts that had create table statements. And after the data warehouse was ready, we populated it using the popular extract, transform, and load operations using SSIS packages. So this is the ETL operation that is popularly used for in data pipelines to move data from one source to another and to move it to a destination. So this is how we populated our fact and dimension tables. And once the data warehouse was ready and populated, the last step was to develop a user interactive Power BI dashboard and feed it with data from the warehouse, where the dashboard would contain insightful visualizations and that would help us derive business intelligence. So the outcome of this project was we aided informed data-driven decision making with the help of reports and insightful visualizations that were present in our user interactive dashboard. So again, reflecting on the learnings that I had from this project and from this course, I would say this project and the course exposed me to the uh, to the to the avenues of data engineering and business intelligence that come under this vast space of data science. So I also learned the concepts of purpose and characteristics of a data warehouse, also designing a star schema data warehouse and populating a data warehouse using ETL techniques with SSIS packages. So SSIS stands for SQL Server Integration Services, which is widely used for ETL operations. I also got to learn how business intelligence can be derived from a warehouse and a dashboard. So those were my learnings from this course and project. Yeah. So lastly, I would like to conclude by saying that I started my MS in applied data science journey at the high school with a goal in mind, and my goal was to acquire a tremendous amount of extensive knowledge in this enormous, vast field of data science. So, after completing 2 years of graduate studies, now that I'm at the verge of graduation, I strongly believe that the last 2 years has taken me closer to my goals, and I've got to learn a lot, and I have significantly added to my knowledge base. And this was demonstrated by my learning journey above, as I had described in the video. So thus I am hoping to learn more, share and grow. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching this video, and thanks a lot.